Good enough. We have an awesome show. By the end of this show, you and all of us will be good enough. Stand by. We have an awesome, thrilling show today. We are going to talk about why don't we feel good enough? Do you ever, like, you're all day, you're standing at the kitchen, you're getting ready for Yontif, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're working hard, you're the executive with a corporate Fortune 500, whatever you're doing in your life, it's never good enough. We never have that feeling of, I did good. We never lie down on our pillow and feel like, I did it. I'm on my game. We always feel like there's a lot we didn't do. Today, we're going to turn that all around. We have this most awesome lady. Her name is Devorah Sisso, and I would like to welcome Devorah Sisso. Yay! Okay, Devorah is in the house, but we want to start with one question, Devorah, and that is, what it causes a person to feel like they're not good enough? How did that happen? How did that start? Where did that come from? And what do we do about it? You're on.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Leah, so you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Great question, Leah. So people feel like they're never good enough. We feel like no matter how much we do, no matter how much we accomplish, it's not enough. We didn't get through our to-do list. We still have 3/4 of it left. Not just the to-do list. It's also the kids, the husband. We want to make everyone happy. We want to make sure everyone is, just happy with us, and have what they need. And then it kind of leaves us feeling like on this roller coaster ride. Like, okay, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I didn't call that person back, or I didn't text her back, or, I should have been there, and I should have done that. And, oh, my gosh. And then we feel bad.
You have a camera on my life, you're zoomed in, watching all of our lives. Yeah,
all us women are connected in
totally
that
get
same
this.
way.
Totally there. Okay, fine. Is it okay if I look at her?
Yes, of course.
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay, what'd you say?
You're also Leah. Today I was at the mall, and there was 5 million people at the Malcha Mall, and I was just sitting there and staring at all these people running around trying to get Yontif together, and I was thinking everyone's feeling insecure in some way. Everyone's feeling bad about something. Everyone wants something. Everyone's feeling lack. Everyone's excited about something. Everyone's we're all so similar, and we all think we're everyone has it together, and we're the only ones that are weird. No.
In some people's case, it happens to be true. No, I'm joking.
By the way, Devorah was at the mall today, and it's the end of the day for her because she's in Israel. She's not local. So when she said she's the mall, I'm like, the mall, it's 11 o'clock. Who's going to the mall already?
Yeah, it's already nighttime. Okay,
she's
so
in a different... She's done her thing. She's done for the day. Her checklist is done, right?
Yeah, the whole bottom of her to-do list. So
I don't want to turn my camera around.
Okay.
Oh, my God. So how do people get to that place? They get to that place when because we all have this inner dialogue we have with ourselves. We have an inner dialogue 24/7, whether we hear it or not, it's happening. Okay? And the dialogue basically can either be more on the critical side or can either be more on the beneficial side, where we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, we're nice with ourselves, we speak to ourselves through, Nekuda Tova, like Rabbi Nachman teaches, where we find the good in what we did, we celebrate the accomplishments that we had throughout the day, we celebrate the checks that we were able to mark off on our to-do list. But most of our cases, we're very judgmental of ourselves. And the inner conversation, the inner critic is like, okay, so you went to the dry cleaners, you went to work, you dropped off the kids, you made dinner, you went shopping, you did all the things that you needed to do, you called your mom back, you called your mother-in-law back. Okay, you were not reactive to your husband. You were not reactive where you could have been. But what about your best friend that's having, a really hard time that you didn't speak to in 4 days? What about her? And she's having a hard time. And what about the lady down the block, your neighbor, the new one that just had a baby that you just didn't sign up to make a meal for? And what about your husband's fill in the blank that you needed to take care of that you totally forgot about? Right? And that's where we're focusing on. We're always focusing on things that we're not accomplishing. So that's when we feel like we're not good enough. And we work, okay, so I did that. Okay, so big deal. Now it's like a no-brainer. So I called my mom back. So I went shopping. So I went to work. So I got dressed. So I got the house together. So I was able to... so, but I didn't do all the other things I was supposed to do. Right? I'm not like in this place of like chesed. What about all the chesed I'm supposed to be doing? Right? And we kind of like move into this place day in, day out, day in, day out. And we're very critical of ourselves. And we wake up in the morning and we look ourselves in the mirror and we don't feel good enough. Okay, so that's where it comes from.
Leah, actually, you covered this. It's for all our viewers, it's going to be this is a little tease of what's coming. But your marriage minute that we filmed last week was all about this. I did nothing right today, and you're like 100 things went right today, 100, but you're always gonna find the stuff that you.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And so what we want to do, Devorah, is we want to. You've nailed it on the head. Did she nail it? Stars, hearts, whatever. She nailed it. Okay, totally nailed it. Now we want to we want 3 things that we can do to shift that tide. What can we do? What practical things can we put in our mind? Can we put in action that we can do that shifts that thinking?
Oh wait, before she answers that, Leah, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. Why is it only that this is? Maybe I'm being biased because I'm a woman, obviously, but I don't feel men feel the same way. I feel like my husband comes home and he feels accomplished, and even if he's done nothing, he feels accomplished. Right. I don't feel that men are as critical of themselves or feel as badly at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. I don't feel like they have the lists that women do.
Yeah.
Why? Why? That's a good, wise woman.
Okay.
Who knows women? Why?
There you go. Well, actually, there is we have many sources that talk about the differences between men and women and how there's a song that we sing every Friday night that talks about how the beauty of a woman. And Ashes Heil, how does it translate? Ashes Heil, a woman of valor, the woman of the woman of valor. So it's she does this and she brings food from the field, and I don't know the whole translate. Whatever, she does all these things, and it talks about how a woman is like all over the place, and a man is more like a rock, right? The rockness. We love props here. Devorah, she's looking, why does she have a rock?
Why does she have a rock?
And why does she have it so close at hand? Okay. And it's like it's a cool thing. It turns into it. You can put a key in it. Okay, so whatever.
High things for you.
I just wanted a clean rock for my desk. Anyway, so a man is more like a rock, and a woman is more like a butterfly. Flying over here, flying over there, flying over there, flying over there. The woman doesn't understand how incredibly important it is to have a rock to land on. And the man often doesn't understand, the wife's over here and he doesn't appreciate that as much. We've got these 2 different things going on. And to answer your question, a husband, I don't know, there's varying levels of stress. I get quite a lot of women coming to me and saying, my husband's stressed out. What can I do? He's really stressed at work. Like, what do I, I try not to make as many demands of him because he's so stressed out. So it varies from husband to husband. You have to be, you sort of have to know your own husband. But the point is, if you have a husband who's totally stressed out, there's a lot you can do about the logistics of your life to make him less stressed out. But chances are you're much more stressed out than he is. When he hits the pillow, it's like, dear, you're like, your mind's going, things, oh my gosh, and this one, I forgot to get lunch for that one, and I think I left the laundry in the wash, and I didn't push it through to the dry, and then tomorrow I'm going to have wet clothes. And, a woman has got 4,000 things she's dealing with, and a guy is like,
that's it.
I did a pretty good snore. I think there's a snore on here.
Exactly that. They hit the pillow and they're done.
They're done.
It's like, I get up and have to do did I lock the door?
Wired. So it's just a difference in the makeup, and rather than being angry at your husband for how he already is, just recognize that's the difference and be grateful that there's somebody who's on their game who remembers, we never RSVP to that wedding that's tomorrow night. Whatever, all those details that a woman does. But that did that answer that?
Yes.
Okay, but I want to get to 3 solutions we can give our peeps. You guys are our peeps, by the way. You're our peeps, our ladies.
Our dads.
We want to have 3 things women can do to both change the mentality of why we feel not good enough. And, we could say, I did, like you said, I did all these great things, but that's not good enough. Look at all these things I didn't do. How does a person deal with that? Devorah, you are on.
I'm going to give you an answer that's like totally not what anyone really is expecting to hear.
Okay.
Okay.
We like that. Surprises. Whoa, surprise me. Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I'll tell you, I'm a life coach and I speak to many women, and this is like a common thread. Like, I gave Leah this title of like, why do I feel like I'm never good enough? And I would have never thought of that, even though I was suffering from that also a little bit ago until I did this work. I would have never thought about that until I saw all the women that were coming to me, and they were all suffering from this same problem. It's just so weighing down on them. Women come to get to a place where they get depressed because of this. They get depressed feeling like they just don't know, even like Yontif coming up and like buying the kids clothing and getting the house ready and getting the menu ready and going shopping and finishing up at work and all of that and the guests and the shuls and all of that. It turns into this like mega stressful experience where people end up fighting with each other, and it causes a lot of interpersonal relationship issues.
Yeah, by the way, Devorah, you're getting a ton of hearts on this. Like,
people are getting it. Totally getting it. Right. We totally get this. Yeah. And also,
I know.
Also, it's like, oh, and I didn't try those 5 recipes I read in the magazine that I wanted to do the fish this way and tell me about it. We're all there. What do we do about it?
And you know what? I want to just mention another thing. Another thing that I realized recently is that a lot of women also have a lot of guilt about not knowing enough Torah coming into Yontif, not knowing enough, like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about Rosh Hashanah. Like, what do I like? And then the stress of not knowing what to think on Yom Kippur, not knowing what to think on Rosh Hashanah. I didn't even hear Shir. All of that is just like, it's pulling everyone down. It's pulling everyone down. So, it's easy to just give everyone a recommendation of just like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. Everything's fine. But it doesn't help anyone because everyone just still walks around feeling guilty and just not enough. So I'm going to take this in a whole different direction with your rishus.
Yes, I hope.
She's like, what are we getting
We're bungee jumping, everybody. We're going bungee jumping. Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad you trust me so much.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Thing is with this inner dialogue, okay? That's where it all starts and ends. Okay, the Baal Shem Tov writes, and Rabbi Nachman states it. He writes it in so many different places in his Likutei Maharan, and he explains like this: is that this inner dialogue is really the compass of our entire life. What you meet, what you experience, who you're interacting with, the kind of interactions you're having, all of that is based on this inner dialogue that you're having with yourself. Okay, and the thoughts that you're allowing yourself to have run wild. Okay, so it really requires a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, when you have to help me out here.
Introspection? Discipline?
No, like when you have to like tell yourself to go to the gym. So it requires a lot of
talking to yourself, self-discipline, self-mastery.
Discipline.
Discipline.
That's the word. Discipline.
Our thoughts.
Thank you, Leah.
Exactly. Our thoughts are, according to Rabbi Nachman, what he writes, it's like a jungle. Our minds are a jungle. People's minds are a jungle. You're thinking about this and then that, and then yourself, and then your childhood, and then your mom, and then people's minds are a jungle.
Maybe women's minds are a jungle.
Yeah.
Does he differentiate between women's minds and men's minds?
I don't know if you can. I don't know. Some women's minds are not a jungle, and some men's minds are a jungle. So from my experience, a lot of men are also suffering from, not feeling enough in their lives, in their careers, and making money.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt because I'm on the edge of my seat. Go ahead.
Okay. So this discipline that we're all supposed to have, it really saves us. It really saves us a lot of stress and a lot of guilt and a lot of anxiety. So many people are, trying to find quick fixes to the way they feel inside and living this almost like trying to be perfect, having everything perfect, having everything just so, because there's just so much anxiety about needing to just
right. And I'm gonna put a little bit of a timeout on you because we get the problem. no more time on the problem. It's stressing me out. I'm joking.
No,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
We totally, we're with you. You don't have to explain what we're feeling. We got it. You're in. I want us now
So
go
we're going
just solutions.
we're going straight into the direction of what's the way to be able to deal with it is first and foremost know that we have to discipline our minds. That's where the secrets lie. Where you have to tell your mind, just like you tell your child, no, sweetheart, right now we're not having candy, we're going to bed. And sweetheart, right now you have to brush your teeth because it's healthy for you. Meaning we have to put a leash on our brains. We have to put a leash on our
Is this
thoughts.
awesome?
We have to know that not everything that you think is okay. Not everything that you're saying to yourself is allowed. You're not allowed to talk to yourself disrespectfully. You're not allowed to say Lashon Hara about yourself. You're not allowed to talk Lashon Hara to yourself. You're not allowed to tell yourself, you should have, you could have, why didn't you? You're not good enough. We look at the other person, look at her yontif table, look at her husband, look at her. No. That is where you're letting I call it training your dragon. You gotta train your dragon, because if you don't, that jungle is gonna go crazy on you. And then you're gonna look for different quick fixes, medications, different things to be able to just quiet it down, because you cannot live in this environment, because the environment is toxic, it's hostile. So first and foremost, learn how to discipline your mind. And that's what I teach. That's what I teach on Breakthrough, learning how to train our thoughts, because our thoughts is where everything starts and ends. Our inner conversation with ourselves needs to be one of kindness.
So give us
no
an
one
example.
Ever got better.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No one ever got better?
Yeah. No one ever got better by being criticized. Ever.
Right.
When you come home and criticize your daughter for not doing the dishes or not looking her best when she comes back from a date, or, not whatever, your husband, right? When you criticize people, they're not going to be like, oh, you know what? You're right. I should have done a better job. They're going to defend themselves.
Right.
They're going to be like, yeah? Okay. So what about all the times I did do that and it didn't work out?
It's fantastic. Yeah, got it. What are some examples? So that was gorgeous. What are some examples people who are listening right now can use in terms of how to discipline your mind? Give us a little taste of what you do in the Breakthrough, what's it called? Breakthrough Body.
Body and Soul, yeah.
How do we train our dragon? Three examples.
Number one, affirmations. You have to know that what you say, your subconscious mind hears. So if you say to yourself, I am so sick and tired, I am so exhausted, I just don't feel well, no one appreciates me, no one listens to me. When you say that, Koach HaDibur has a tremendous impact on your life, on your subconscious. It literally shapes your mind, it shapes your brain. And then you start seeing, it's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy. You start seeing all the things that you're saying. So number one, you got to know that what comes out of your mouth is impacting and shaping your life. So say to yourself, instead of saying, I'm broke, say to yourself, I feel abundance in my life. Say to yourself, success walks into my life and knocks down my door. Say to yourself, my husband sees me, he hears me, he loves me, he listens to me. In other words, say what you want and stop talking about what you don't want.
Wait, say that one again. My husband, we're writing this down. My husband what? Sees me, loves me, gives me money,
appreciates me, listens
what did
to
you
me.
say?
Wait a second. Hold on.
Mercy and love.
Is that what we're writing down? The husband one we are writing down.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to throw my water. Give me a second. Wait, now first this and then this.
And then the sounds.
There we go. Yay! I did it right.
There's a real crash.
Okay, there was a real crash. Okay, very good. Sorry.
Leah's disciplined. She's disciplined.
Last week it was up in the air and it was crashing. Okay,
no, but
whatever.
I love that husband one, like saying, making
he loves me.
I mean, waking up in the morning and literally before you do anything else, saying that, like, my husband loves me, he thinks I'm amazing, etc.
I am loved. I am valuable. I am worthwhile. I am enough. All the time. You just say it. Say it in the car. Say it while you're walking. Say it when you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night. You got to know that the last thoughts you have before you go to sleep at night are the exact feelings you're going to wake up with in the morning.
Wow. That's
so
great.
Before you go to sleep at night, that's why Kriya Shema Lamita is so amazing. I forgive. I love. I'm okay. I let go. That you say those things because that's so healing for you. And then when you wake up in the morning, the first 30 minutes in the morning are the most valuable because your mind is still an empty slate. It's still not, don't go on your phone the first thing in the morning. Don't grab your phone and start scrolling your Instagram. Wait, give your mind a chance to be able to allow to just plant these seeds. Say, life is beautiful. I'm going to have a wonderful day. Thank you, Hashem, for another day. Thank you, Hashem, for the vitality of my body, for the energy. I love my children. I love my husband. My life is good. Thank you. So that brings me to point number 2, gratitude. It's been proven scientifically, medically. It's been proven. I mean, we have it in our Torah for 3,300 years now, right? We don't really need so much science and medicine to prove this, okay? But today there are much research done on the power of gratitude. Gratitude, just being able to say the words, thank you, Hashem, thank you, and to see what you do have in your life and not constantly focus on the empty, half-empty glass, that act, that practice of gratitude, that brings in so much abundance, that brings in so much bracha, that brings in so much shefa. It's almost like buying your kid a toy, taking him on a play date, getting him ice cream, taking him whatever, and he's always like, right, so you have no cost to give more to him. You're like, wait, look at what I'm giving you. Look at what you have. I don't care, but I want this. Right? So you don't wanna you just don't feel like you're like, okay, just be happy with what you have, bye.
Yeah.
Right? But if your child is like, you bought me a balloon, I love it, thank you, Ima, you're the best, thank you, I love it, and you see him loving it and appreciating you, you wanna just keep feeding this kid.
That's great.
Because he notices what he has.
Yeah, Leah actually
So
did that. You speak about that for husbands.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
Which
and
is
receiving from your husband, but also there's another thing that is kind of in behind what you're saying, which everybody should recognize, which is the gratitude that a child would show to you about your own life makes you want to give them to them more. It's exactly like, thanks for the balloon. That's so nice of you. Right on. What behind the scenes thing is our gratitude for what's going on in our life with God. That if you have gratitude for what, and God sees it, you're like, oh, I'm so lucky, instead of sitting there saying, oh, I can't believe my didn't do this and didn't do that. And you know what? He came home. He brought the milk. Maybe he didn't bring the milk. Whatever. He came home. I have what to feed everybody. Instead of looking at the glass as half empty, you're seeing it glass full. You're thanking God Himself. So He's the parent in her analogy. That the more gratitude you show to God Himself, the more God you will feel the love, and the more blessing God will shower upon you. And that's not like, oh, that's an interesting idea that Devorah and Leah have. This is a 3,000-year-old track record of success. It's not. We're not making this up. These are all sourced in Torah, and the test of time is that is the key. A lot of people come to me. Oh, I'm having so much struggle with financial issues or whatever. I'm like, do you thank God for what you do have? Well, yeah, but I mean, Leah, we can't even get beef. Do you thank God that you can get chicken? Well, sometimes we can't get chicken. Do you thank God that you can have bread at the table? Sometimes, when you're thanking for what you have, then abundance will grow. This is not a show about abundance or whatever, but this is a sort of a example of the kinds of gratitude in our life. If you are thanking God for closeness to your husband, right? Even though he didn't do this and you can't forgive him for that and you're mad at this and there's bickering all the time and there's tension all the time and whatever, but you say, he really does show up. He's dependable. He always does Kiddush on Friday night. He's there. A lot of people, they don't know what their husband is, being grateful for what you have makes God happy, and in return, He will bring bracha into your life. And the blessing that He brings into your life, you may not see it. You might say, well, I was so grateful for this and that and the other thing, but like nothing good happened to me. I still am driving the old car. Well, how do you know you weren't supposed to, God forbid, get in a car accident, and because you were so grateful, God didn't give you that car accident? So yeah, you're driving the old car, but you're safe in it. You got home that day. You were supposed to not have a car anymore this year. That was part of the cheshbon. That was part of the judgment, and you weren't supposed to have a car. But because you showed so much gratitude and focused so much on shalom bayis, I will just put that in, God will bring blessing into your life. Okay, back to you. We're on to number 3.
Wait I have to say one more thing.
Okay.
In addition to that, for all the people that are not sold on what we said till now, there was a lot of research done, especially by a man by the name of Martin Siegelman, who is a researcher, and he wrote books, and he's very, very held up in the self-help world. He's a psychologist, psychotherapist. He got together with his colleagues, and they did a tremendous amount of research for 2 years on this idea of gratitude and how it impacts the body. How it impacts the body. And it came back, I don't have the list in front of me, but it came back, the people that were grateful. The people that you go to the nursing home, you know, the nursing home, you go to the nursing home and there's like half the nursing home are grouchy old people and the other half are like wonderful old women and men that are just so happy that you came and wanted to do their chocolate cookies, right? So how does that happen? How does it happen that way? Because those people were people that were always their entire life, were mavir. We're saying thank you. We're noticing what they did have. I have a bed to sleep on. I have a floor. I have a ceiling above my head. And Martin Siegelman came back and he realized and he learned that people that are grateful literally live longer lives. They don't. Wow. They live longer lives. They don't suffer from high blood pressure. They are less likely to have heart attacks. They are less likely to get cancer. Wow. It's unbelievable how much of an impact being grateful that you got to train your dragon, because we're not programmed that way. We're programmed to complain and we're programmed to criticize. So we're moving away from that. Okay?
Wow.
Excellent.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I love it. So I got my affirmations ready, and the gratitude journal is being purchased today. And you're getting lots of hearts, tons and tons of hearts. Okay, so I think people love that.
Thank you for the hearts, guys.
Yeah, affirmations and gratitude. Now, 3.
3, you got to know that there's something called limiting and empowering beliefs. That you have at every given moment of the day, you have an option, you have a choice to either move into a space of limiting beliefs, meaning my beliefs about my life, my marriage, my motherhood, my weight, my health, my ability to make money, my ability to have relationships with other people, effective ones, positive ones. I either am going to limit that, meaning, I don't know, the proof is in the pudding. I never really succeeded in the past.
The what?
You know,
What's the piece in the pudding? The what in the pudding?
The proof. The
proof is in the pudding.
I have so much evidence my whole life. Look, I didn't get along with her. I don't get along with her. I don't succeed at that job. I don't know how to lose weight. I always try to diet and it doesn't work. My husband, no matter what I do, it doesn't work out. Like I have evidence showing that I stink at all things I would love to be good at. I don't know how to get Yom Tov together. I don't know, right? So that's a limiting belief. Meaning, bottom line, there is no reality. The reality is in the here and the now. So you have to choose. What happened is over. What happened yesterday, an hour ago, you can't do anything about it.
You guys digging this? Awesome, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Past is the past.
What you have to know is right now you're between an empowering belief and a limiting belief. So if you're going to be like in the space of like, nah, I don't know, that's a choice that you're making. You can also make the choice to be in an empowering belief. I can, and I will, and I'm going to try to step out of my comfort zone where I know I tried this before, but I'm going to try it again. I'm going to keep trying. That's how people get good at things. When your kid comes home from school and says, Mom, I finally learned how to play that, I don't know, blade, and for the past 3 weeks, he's been trying and crying and failing, and everyone's better than me, and I'm never going to get good at this, and I'm never going to get good at this. And all of a sudden he comes home and he's like, I got it, and I beat everyone. Why? Because he didn't give up. Because he kept trying, and it works. You have to know that your beliefs, the way you view yourself in the situation, is everything. There's nothing else. There's no reality. That's the reality. Believe it, and it's going to be good. Believe good, and it's going to be good. Think good. Be good.
So Devorah, Mrs. Shaftik wants to know if you could just explain the difference between an affirmation and an empowering belief.
Good question. Very good question.
Yeah, right?
You go, girl.
Mrs. Shaftik is listening. Is on her game.
She's on her game. It's on her game.
Yeah.
Good job. Good. So an affirmation. So listen, this is how it works. Thoughts that wire together, fire together. Fire together, wire together. Meaning, our job is to program our mind, okay? Because everything that we see in our life is what we're projecting, right? Everything we see in our minds is what we're projecting. We can think that someone really doesn't like us, but it's really our projection of what we think that they're thinking about us, Okay. Meanwhile, they're insecure. They think that like we're like, we don't really care about what they think about us, or if we want to have a relationship with them or anything like that. So all of the way we gauge our life is really very much a projection of what we're thinking up here. So
and can I do a timeout on that? Because I want to make one point in that. So I just had a question this week. A woman said to me, she said, I'm like a likable person. I feel good about myself. I feel like I have a nice wardrobe or whatever. Why is it when I walk into a chasana or an event or a thing, I feel like I'm in junior high school? Why do I feel like, where am I going to sit, and who am I going to sit with, and who am I going to talk to, and is there anybody I know? And she said, I try and go to things with people because I feel so like insecure. And you know what? The answer that I gave her, I asked her a bunch of questions about her childhood, and she was bullied all through school. Her whole life she was bullied. So there are vestiges of that. And I said, if you see them as vestiges of your bullying and not your present self, and you just sort of in your mind build a wall between that you and this new you, maybe that'll help. But here is one secret that is like a bulletproof thing. If you are ever feeling socially awkward, or you're ever feeling like, what am I going to, I'm walking into this room and like that, the best thing you can wear is a smile. Doesn't matter what outfit you're wearing, doesn't matter whatever. Just like before you're outside of the room and you're about to walk through the hall and everyone's about to turn their head at you, right? Just have a huge smile on your face. It's unbelievable, because not just what it does to other people, like you get nods, but you just feel like, okay, I'm here. That little girl who was bullied is over there. I'm here. Anyway, just time out from the little
No,
point.
but that's really exactly what she's saying.
It's kind of like,
you're training your mind to your perception to be different. If you're smiling,
that's right.
It's going to change the whole perception of everyone else and yourself.
Right, and the shift is twofold. One is it's a shift in how you perceive yourself, but it also gets you out of the world of mirrors of just focusing on you and what are they thinking of me, and you're out there with other people and you're engaging. A smile is something that makes you feel good, but then it's welcoming to other people. Like, rather than thinking about how am I doing this for me, you're thinking of the chesed of how are you going to interact with other people? The other thing I told her is I said, clock somebody in the room who also looks very anxious and go and make a friend. And she loved that, because she said there's always those people who are sort of standing by a pole and, whatever. Nowadays, it's a lot easier because you can do your phone and act like you're busy.
Can look busy.
You can look busy, which is kind of sad, actually. But if you go and make an effort to go outside of yourself and go take care of the other person, that's another secret.
Okay, wait. So describe an affirmation and then give an empowering.
What?
Shaftik, I'm going to answer your question. That with the affirmations and the limiting beliefs. So here's the deal, okay? Our thoughts need to get wired. The way they get wired is by a few ways. So the main way is by what we say to ourselves, okay? So literally, when you speak out loud to yourself, your subconscious mind hears you. So that wires your mind. And your mind, your thoughts, when you think the same thought over and over and over again, it turns into a belief. That turns into your belief system. So the things that you believe about yourself, about your life, about your husband, about all the beliefs that you have, that I would say 80% of our beliefs are very, very, very off. Because really, everybody wants to be your friend. Stop looking busy on your phone and come out of your comfort zone and go up to somebody else and say hi, because they're also uncomfortable. So who's going to break the ice? Break the ice. We only live once. So I think that people are going to think you're weird, so let them think you're weird, but at least you try. At least you're a gibor, right? So the idea is that you got to know that what you say to yourself, your affirmations, those turn into thoughts. And thoughts, when you think them over and over again, turn into beliefs. And then your beliefs actually create your reality. So what you believe, that's what you're going to see in your life.
Yeah. Okay. So an affirmation is something that you're actually saying to yourself, and then it will eventually, if you say the right things, will turn into an empowering belief that you have, or something that empowers you. The thought.
A new thought process. And start thinking, I am lovable, I am wanted, I am listened to, I am cared for. You're going to start saying all things that you feel opposite to. You're going to flip the script, and you're going to say those things. And then that's what you're going to start believing, and the more you start thinking that and believing that, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. People are going to respond differently to you. People are going to approach you differently.
Yeah, so Mrs. Shaftik said, thanks, great explanation. And it happens to be, interestingly enough, that when I've been taking the class with Leah for many years now, and through the course of taking the class, many times she has taught things like saying the right things and feeling the right way and feeling towards your husband that he loves you and you're amazing and so on and so forth. So I actually wrote myself a couple like things out on a little piece of paper and I stuck it inside my closet door because I don't want him to see it necessarily, that like when I open up my, like if it's somewhere, you know, where he'll notice it. But I literally, it says, I am amazing. My husband loves me. He can't be without me. I'm the only one for him. He thinks like I'm the best wife. Literally all these things. But I don't want him to see it and then be like, okay, honey, maybe number 2, not so much. Number 4, I don't know. I'm working on that. Right. So I totally hate it. But when I get dressed in the morning, it's literally, I like read it to myself. So that's kind
you go,
of like,
girl.
no, it's,
so now
it's,
I'll
it's
tell
cool
you, I love this very much. And I think that it's a good plan for somebody who has the thought process, and who's like I feel like I'm gonna get an email after and say, you know, I love the show, but I just like, do you get my life? Like I'm so like now I've got something else to do. So I just want you to address the issue of how in our frenzied, crazy life, how we can implement, you know, it in a way. That feeling of I'll never be good enough is so deeply ingrained, and we work a lot here with habits, how to break habits, one way to break a habit, like if I were to say, okay, stop, drinking coffee, you know, the person's, you know, drinking 3 cups a day and whatever, stop drinking. Sometimes some people say cold turkey is better. Some people say weaning off, you know, whatever. There's a lot of work. And if you have habits that you want to break, there's a lot of books and a lot of research you can do and Google it and whatever you can find out, or somebody who doesn't have the habits, get habit training. But we do a lot in here in terms of, because it's kind of like your habits create who you are. And so, but the single most powerful way we know from our sources, Mesillas Yesharim is one of them, where it outlines it step by step, is Paths of the Just book by Luzzatto. Rav Chaim Luzzatto. So, it outlines how to break habits. The very crucial thing about breaking a habit and doing it the way you've always done and thinking, oh, I'll never be good enough, which we've thought our whole life. So how can the number one way to do that is to first have an insight. And the difference between insight and information is insight is to have clarity on the cost of the thinking. So if you understand that, if the other thing about insight, sometimes someone says, you know, if somebody says to you, you know, you're having this tussle, and every time, you know, somebody at work and whatever, and you know, there's always this like, oh, come on, and I thought whatever, and then you sit down with them and you have lunch. You say, oh, can you do lunch today, whatever, and they sit down and say, you know, I just want to let you know something, and I don't want to, you know, make a big deal of it. Again, you can do this with your husband, but you know, I don't want to make a big deal of it. But when you come in the morning and you've already, you know, made the coffee. Let's say there's one coffee pot and they always are making caffeine instead of decaf or whatever. I drink decaf, and the reason I walk in every morning annoyed is because you always start with a caffeine. Can't you just make yourself an own little one of those sacks? I don't drink coffee, so you know, make your own, or get an instant little thing you can do yourself, so we can both have a nice day, because I can't drink the caffeine and I have to wait till it's finished or whatever it is. Now you've discussed this with this person and told them your feelings and say, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. I just want to explain what I'm feeling and why sometimes there's tension between us. And they're like, oh, light bulb goes off. Oh, I got it. That insight that they have in you and that sharing that you've done with them have now given them they don't have to like sit there and say, oh, how am I going to break the habit of not making the coffee? They get it. They get you. And they're able to do it just because they care. They're a good person, you know, maybe if you're lucky, you know, and they want to do it. So that kind of a connection, that kind of communication, that kind of an insight can shift the whole thing without a whole lot of busy work and trying to figure out how we're going to, you know, solve this problem. So the same thing here, a person's there, I don't feel good enough. I've felt that feeling every day of my life. Every time I hit the pillow, I don't look at all the things I've done. And maybe part of what you're saying is list out all the things you've done. And when your dragon goes into listing all the things you didn't do, then you say, I don't have to go there. I don't have to think those thoughts. I don't even you can take them all, you can shove them in a room, slam the door, lock the key, have 10 locks. You don't have to think them. You don't have to start going through all the things you didn't do. It's like, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. These are all the things I did. I'm good enough. And if you did lazy around and, you played Candy Crush for 3 hours straight or whatever it is that people do that way you're like, I should have done that instead. I should have done that instead. Chill. Just chill. Look at what you did accomplish. And again, we have a big thing here, Devorah, where we talk a lot about how people are addicted to accomplishing and how that's from everything we learn from the day we're born is your stature and your pride is all determined on how much of your to-do list you got done and how long your to-do list is. We brag on, I gave a whole show on the fact of rather than bragging, I only got 3 hours sleep last night and you can't believe, no, brag, I went and had my nails done yesterday. Brag, after I finished the morning thing, I took an hour and walked in the park. Brag on not accomplishing, on things that don't accomplish. That I have a close friend and she says, "What is this? Don't just stand. Don't just stand there. Do something. Like everything's going. Don't just stand there. Do something." And she says, "No. Don't just do something. Stand there." We need to find that quiet. So in terms of breaking the habit, and I want your input on this as well, in terms of breaking our lifelong habit of I'll never be good enough, you gave some awesome tips and techniques and tools we can use today, okay? But I want a further thing on how do you break the habit of I'll never be good enough?
Okay, so exactly what you just said of this overdosed society that needs to constantly be, indulging in on this accomplishment.
Driven.
Because accomplishment is making everyone feel, okay, people need to accomplish so much because they don't feel worthwhile unless they do. So, I am allowed to take up space on this planet because look how much I got done. Mm-hmm. Look how much I got done. That's and this true. Is what I got done. And meanwhile, it's costing. Who's paying it? Who's paying it? Your body's paying it. Your health is paying it. Your kids are paying it because their mom is running around like a chicken without a head, right? Your husband's paying it. Your intimacy is paying it. You're paying it. You're paying for it with your life. With your life. So when we say taking a walk in the park is not accomplishing, something it says in the Torah, "Kol hamosif goreah." Sometimes adding too much is actually taking away from it. Sometimes doing too much is actually ruining it. Sometimes you just have to know when to stop. You have to know when the right time is. You have something saying that there's the Yiddish expression "betamt." You have to do it it has to be. You have to know.
Translate that. Translate for our listeners.
So betamt is I don't know how to translate that. It's almost
girls,
like
ladies? Anyone
it's almost like a betam atov. You have to do it when it's.
Meaning it's
it's almost when kids.
It's
you
enough.
have to know.
It's
enough. You have to know when it's
kind of,
you've just done it right.
It's like when you're making chicken soup and you put all the spices in or whatever, and then.
Yeah.
A little this.
Yeah.
By
the way, what Miriam said, actually, she said, "Do you have a window into my house? Today I took a nap for the first time in years." Go, Miriam!
Go, Miriam!
By the way, that is the biggest accomplishment right there. That you took a nap. And by the way, Leah, you kind of said that as what you were saying about how do you break a habit. That was exactly what you said. When you're just writing down the stuff that you are doing well. I woke up today and I didn't yell at my kids. And I actually got them off to school, and they were okay. And maybe we forgot a backpack, but you know what? At least we found it before we left. All the stuff that you said, and it's funny because Devorah, Leah has this amazing section in her book, which is all about how to get appreciation from your husband, which is one of my favorite parts, because we really do need our husband's appreciation more than anything else. As Leah says, oxygen. But basically one of the things that works for me so well is the accomplishment list.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
explain
that's a
that
whole,
because
that's,
this works so well for here also.
yeah,
not just
no,
for
it's
the
good.
husband.
It's good. So
explain
the accomplishment list is basically, when you've got all the stuff done, but at the end of the day, you still feel like, oh, did I really what did I? So you make a list of everything that you accomplished, no matter how little, and even the little things are so sweet. Like, I called my mother-in-law. Right?
Right.
We have this thing. Our mother-in-laws, I have actually the best mother-in-law, but had
Yeah.
anyway. I love Michelle. But anyway, so you're making the list, and then at the end of the day, you're actually sitting down with your husband and you're saying, listen, I got a lot done today and I don't feel a sense of completion. I just want to rattle it off to you. You don't need to fix anything that I'm listing out. You don't need to try and figure out, whether I should do more and what I don't want correction and I want not correction. I want corroboration. So I want you at the end of this, the only thing you need to do is say, wow, you are fantastic. Okay?
Yeah.
So he'll kind of chuckle and he'll laugh or whatever, and then you'll read him off and you'll read him off. And you'll keep reading him off, and he'll just be like, wow.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
Great.
Yeah, Devorah, I actually did that when Leah signed it, and I felt like I had so not done a lot in the day because I had a lot of also fun stuff. I went out to lunch with friends, and I was out in the park with my kids, things I didn't feel were accomplishments.
I remember this.
You remember that? And I actually I said, I'm doing this homework. Leah said it, I'm going to do it. And I sat and I listed it to my husband, and he was like, wow, oh my gosh, you do so much during the day. And he was so surprised because he's at work and he doesn't really get to see what I'm doing. And he was so impressed. And the next night, he actually said, so what's your list? Tell me, what'd you do today? And I'm like, well, I only did the homework once. But he really, he felt, he got it.
Wow.
He really got it when I sort of was unloading. So it made me feel
like $1 million bucks. Okay, we got to wrap this up. I want to ask you one final question. Tell us about the breakthrough body.
Okay, let me tell you about breakthrough body.
Yeah, breakthrough body and soul. Hello, you have a double because I'm doing it. I'm joining the October one. Okay, so it's breakthrough body and soul. Because it's not. By the way, I've done many detoxes for the body. This is body and neshama together.
Wow.
Very excited.
Body and mind. Yes, this is body and mind. I'll tell you about breakthrough body, but I want to tell you about a little bit. How much time do I have?
We have about 3 or 4 minutes left of the show.
Okay, so let me tell you quickly what's going on here. The way you treat yourself is the way you're treating your kids. Meaning, imagine treating your kids, not letting them have a nap in years. In years, they shouldn't have a nap in the middle of the day. Listen to yourself. If your body is tired, stop everything. Go into the room and take even a 30-minute cat nap. Have a healthy relationship with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Going to the park with your kids or going out for coffee with a friend is not any less important than running to the dry cleaners or going to work or picking up your kid or doing. No, you have to realize that it's just as important. We are human beings, not human doings. Okay? We have to be. That's first and foremost, and be kind. And second of all, Breakthrough Body was born. It's a 14-day detox. It's a 14-day cleanse, a body cleanse, where people lose weight. They really start getting rid of, most of us walk around with candida, surprisingly. And there's a lot of that going on in people's bodies, and people don't realize that they're not feeling well. They have brain fog. They're lethargic a lot of times. Their legs are hurting. It's a lot because of the excess amount of sugar in everything that there is, even the stuff in the cans and all that stuff. There's just so much preservatives and chemicals and garbage. And then there's candida. Most people, for sure women, are walking around with that, and then they don't feel well. In the middle of the afternoon, they just want to take a nap and they just want to sleep because they're lethargic. And so it's a 14-day detox where we actually cleanse our body. And what, I don't want to see this live, but what comes out for most women, they're very surprised. Our skin gets cleared up, our mind gets cleared up. We just let go of all the toxicity in our body. And Torah teaches that when you shift out of any part of you, body, mind, soul, any part of you, you come out of your comfort zone. There's no coffee on the program. You can have one coffee in the first phase. You can have a coffee a day until we start weaning you off. But for 14 days, you are moving into a space of total out of comfort zone. Most women that are doing this program are like, wow, I don't eat this much ever. I'm eating on this detox. Because we actually replace all the garbage that we eat, all the fast food, all the canned stuff, all that with real food, real nutrients, real minerals. This body of ours is a machine, and when you hook it up with vitamins and minerals and all things that it actually needs, as opposed to all the stuff that it's like just keeping it going for the time being, giving it a sugar up and then a sugar down and then a sugar up and then a caffeine, whatever, right? When you actually give it what it needs, it flourishes, it blossoms. Everything, your body is meant to heal itself. When you get a scratch and you start bleeding, the next day it's gone because our bodies regenerate. And the way to allow our bodies to heal themselves when you don't feel well, even if you do feel well, you don't realize how well you can actually feel. You don't realize how much energy you can actually have. Women on the program told me a week in, Devorah, I'm literally sleeping for 6 hours a night and I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I never wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. My eyes open, I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with myself. Because our bodies are not constantly processing. We are allowing our bodies to heal. And then we start to surface. And the Torah teaches us that when we move out of comfort zone in any area of our life, then it's an amazing, amazing time to start putting in other things. So while everyone's detoxing, I'm brainwashing.
Good.
We're working on the mind. We're giving exercises. We're teaching them how to think. We're training our heads. Your thoughts create your reality. We have to realign our thinking. We have to structure our thinking. And I promise you, because this saved my life, literally this saved my life, this work saved my life, and that's for another conversation, but when you train your mind to not go certain places and to, yes, go other places while you're also detoxing your body, it's a whole other experience.
Wow, you are getting so many hearts. Your hearts
so
are
great.
flying.
So let me,
sign me up.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. So the 14 days detox, so on day, 14, you're feeling like this. What happens on day 15 and onward?
Day 15 and onwards, first of all, it's a detox. It's not a weight loss. It's a detox. We're getting all the chemicals out of your body.
Okay.
Your skin starts to clear up, your nails start to go, everything starts to feel healthy and alive. Your energy. And then there's a transitional program where we transition you into a 30-day program where you can either do it or not do it. And we teach you how to eat. I have women that are in their 60s that are like, Devorah, I know so much about health, and I wake up in the morning and I look in my fridge and I'm like, I just don't know what to eat anymore. Should I make an egg or not make an egg? Should I have oatmeal or shouldn't have oatmeal? They're like, what should I eat? I don't know what to eat. Is yogurt healthy or is yogurt not healthy? Is dairy good or is it not good? I don't know. There's so much information out there. And we train you, me and an incredible coach that I have working with me, who's a naturopath and a healer and has been doing this for 20 years, who has healed herself from a life-threatening disease that the doctors gave up on her. They gave her like a few months to live. She did all of this and she came back to life. And she teaches how to open up our elimination pathways, how to open up the organs and to allow the toxicity to leave our bodies.
Fantastic.
So we teach us how to eat.
I love it.
How to eat, what to stay away from.
Devorah, you are so yummy. We have loved it. Any last thing you want to say?
Wait. We're going to let all our viewers, we are going to post all the information for how to sign up for Devorah's next breakthrough body and mind, which I'm signing up for, so join me. I tried to sign up for the last one and I got booted out because she closed it. So many people signed up. So I'm ready for the next round. I'm ready for the next level.
Awesome. After Sukkot, we're going to start it after Sukkot.
Yes. Let us have all the junk and garbage on Sukkot, and then because we're not detoxing before.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You have the last thing you want to say to everybody, and then we'll sign off.
Last thing I want to tell everyone is that the most important thing is to go into Rosh Hashanah being in a space of excitement and looking forward and having dreams and goals and really, really not being in the how am I going to have a great Rosh Hashanah? What am I going to think? How am I going to daven? If I'm going to go to shul, should I daven? Not be in that space. Be in the space of empowering beliefs. This year, this is what I'm doing, and this year, this is what I'm letting go of. This is not serving me anymore. Bye-bye.
Right.
That's it.
Bye-bye. Perfect way to end. Bye-bye.
That's fantastic. Okay, the homework for the week, everybody, is to think of one thought that you have that is holding you back in your life, that keeps popping up, like it's a belief. You've thought it so many times, it's like in your face, like this is who you are. Think of one belief that you have that is holding you back from enjoying your life, and work on that, and work on writing down. So you write that down, and then the next sentence you write down what you're going to think instead, and put put it on your door
Yeah,
behind
and
your
I was gonna
closet.
say, I was saying that one belief, throw it out with Tasha when you go to the shop. Throw it in with the bread.
Throw the bad one, and the good one, put it on the inside of your mirror or inside of your, your somewhere where your husband's not going to see it, unless he actually could see that kind of thing. It's not necessarily about him. But what's one limiting belief that you have that you can jettison, and what are you going to replace it with? That's the homework.
Nice.
Thank you, Devorah, so much for your
Tons of
awesome.
hearts.
Thanks, everybody.
You
Leah
are flying.
Richeimer for
Hearts
the
are
Ladies
flying.
Talk Show. We'll see you next time.